So today I'm going to show you how to do 3 easy steps to painting a snowy mountain. And what I'm going to do is draw out my mountain first with a watercolor pencil. A watercolor pencil will blend in with the rest of the paint because it turns into paint. So we'll take a watercolor, now you can do it with chalk if you want to, but a watercolor pencil will blend in with your colors because it turns to paint. So we're going to get some peaks first. Let's get our peaks. So let's draw them out first. And then once we get our peaks done, we'll be able to paint them in. Nice and peaky for this one. Lots of nice peaks for your mountains. Now there we go. So you can have as many peaks as you want, and then you get it started that way. See? So that'll make it easier for you to get your peaks before you start painting, because then you don't have to do as much adjusting. So take your flat chiseled edge brush, synthetic, and mix up a nice dark background color for your mountain. So this will be your second step. Your first step is to draw out your mountain peaks first. So let's get a nice dark background. I'm just going to add some ultramarine blue, a bit of red, and a bit of burnt umber. And I'm just going to mix that together for a nice dark, mostly blue though, nice dark blue. Okay, so that's all you need there. And then we will fill in our mountains. So just fill them in, start where you want as long as you get to the peak and come down. I'm just using the chiseled edge of the brush. Get all those peaks filled in. There we go. See how those peaks help you get your shapes, and then you don't have to adjust too much. Fill in this one here. Lots of paint to get it started. Double load your brush and come down as far as you want, depending on how big you want your mountains. There we go. Get it covered nicely. See how it's starting to take shape? Some more paint. Make sure you have lots of paint on your brush. Look, got it full. And that will help you fill in those areas without having streaks or having to scrape on the paint and go back and get more all the time. There we go. I've just sort of gone diagonal to the right because you can almost shape up your mountains while you're doing it this way. You can go half that way and half that way if you want, and that way you'll have an idea of where to shape up your mountains. Okay, you need more paint. There we go. So always load your brush. Don't let it go too dry. Let it go too dry, you're going to get this right here. Okay. If you're using a really big canvas, I would suggest that you use smaller canvases to practice on, or paper. You know, watercolor paper, acrylic paper, something like that, or cardboard. Practice on first. And if you're planning on doing a big painting, a little practice in first, and then you won't waste all your paint. Good. See, the mountains are shaping up already. Good. So like I say, come down as far as you want. And now we have some nice mountains. See, if you go to the right, half the mountain to the right and half the mountain to the left, and you almost see shapes there already. But I'm going to show you another way to get your shapes properly. So if you're happy with that, if you need 2 coats, fine, put 2 coats on. If you don't, just leave it at that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take some chalk. So step 1 was drawing on your lines with your watercolor. And step 2 is filling in your mountains to get their shapes. And step 3 is to take some chalk. Take your chalk and make your squiggly lines. I've had another video on mountains before too, and there were 3 steps. This one is 4. So take the very tip of your mountain and make a squiggly line. That will help you get some shapes, okay? So that's one squiggly line. You can even start a squiggly line anywhere you want to. It can be over here. It can be wherever you want it. All you're trying to do is figure out what side of the mountain you want for the sunlight, and it keeps you in control of where your brush is going to paint. And because I'll show you now when it's done. And let's try another one over here. A squiggly line over here. So you can even go way over here if you wanted to. So you can have any kind of squiggly lines you want. This one can be down here, and this one can be here. So as long as you got a line there, that really helps you keep control of putting your paint on your mountains. Now I'm going to use an angular brush. Great brush for flowers, synthetic, chiseled edge. And you don't have to use this if you don't want to. You can use a flat brush. Whatever brush works for you, but I would suggest the chiseled edge because we can get right up against the edges here, okay? And you have better control. So you can dry this paint in the back here. You can dry it because we are going to use some white paint. So we still need to get some shadows. And we're going to use some of that dark paint that we used for our background. So we'll use that to get some nice highlights on your mountain, some snow, some nice snow. So we'll start at the top on this side of the squiggly line on the right side, and we'll just pull down some snow. Just pull it down and leave some openings. Okay, so just leave some openings. Now we're going to put another coat of white paint on there to make it like really like snow-capped mountains. Okay, so just put that, start at the top, and when you work your way down, just leave some holes. There we go. Okay, so that's that one, and then we'll take another one, and we will start at the top, and because that nice chiseled edge, angular top, that nice pointy top, I can take my brush and control that top part that I want. And I'm using a squiggly line to show me where to go. And I'm just putting on some, just use short strokes and leave some holes. See? Just leave some holes. Okay. Just stay up against the squiggly line and make sure you leave. See? Isn't that pretty? Make sure your next coat is got some of that darker blue in it, so it won't be too bright yet. We just want to get an idea of how we're going to make our mountains, so get our snow on there. So I'm using that angular brush for that top. Helps me keep my peak. And because we're using shadowy white, it's okay to come down, but like I said, leave openings. Now see, if you're using a palette knife, that will leave openings for you. So we're not using a palette knife. This is for people who have a really hard time with palette knife. I may be able to come up with an easier solution with a palette knife, but a lot of people have a hard time when they're starting off mountains to use a palette knife. So the next best thing is your brush. Flat chiseled edge brush. There we go. Now, good. Now you can also use a fan brush. I'll show you a couple of different ways you can do this. I've used this in my other video. I can leave a link to my other video if you like. So I'm just picking up some of the blue and white again. And I'm going to go to the top of here. And I'm just going to pull down. And see how the fan brush leaves holes for you? Just leaves the holes for you. Now you can go back over what you did down here. Alright, so, but you can see the fan brush, I like the fan brush best, but I want to show you different ones. They still leave holes, alright? And come, use your squiggly line. Good. Good, good. And I'm using the chiseled edge of this brush. I'm not doing it this way because it's too hard. Keep control. It's all about control, see? You're the one that's in control, not your brush. You have, well, your brush helps, but you got to be in control. If you lose control and your paint takes over and your brush takes over, then you get very confused and disappointed. So that's that. So we're doing, you know, this step here to get on that paint, getting the snow look. Now I have two different palette knives here. So I want to show you different ways that you might be able to, you could, what it is, it takes practice. And I'm just scraping it on the corner. I'm left-handed, so you might need, I'm going to put it on both edges. I'm going to put it on the whole bottom because it makes it so much easier for you to do that. So I'm just putting it, white paint with my dark mixture on my palette knife on the two edges. I'm just going to do it that way. And then I'm going to start, like I said, I'm left-handed, so if you're right-handed, you might want to do it this way, I guess. But I'm doing it this way for all you left-handed people. And see, if you could get the hang of that, that gives you the better. See how it leaves holes for you? I'm just laying it down. I'm just laying it down and pulling it down. So if you got paint on the whole back of your brush, that will, you can lay it down. Just either the corner, there we go, just the corner, or lay it down flat. You'll still get those holes. So getting the holes is the important thing, because the holes leave all that nice shadows. And let's try this one now, just see what happens. So this is a little bit of a different shape. So I'm just going to put it on both sides, and I'm just going to touch and pull. Well, that one don't work as good as the other one. I like the other one better. Not getting anything out of this one. I don't want to do that. See how you have an experiment? But I don't like that one. I think this is the one that most artists use when you use a palette knife. But it's not working for me. You have to use whatever works for you, okay? Never mind what anybody else says. You can look at lots of videos and they'll tell you use this and use that. But if you can't, don't give up, because that's the worst thing about, you know, looking at videos and they say do this and do that and this is the right way to do it. And then you get discouraged because you're thinking, oh gosh, I can't do it because they told me to do it a certain way and I didn't do it right. But really, that's not true. You got to find your own way to paint. It's your own way to do anything in life, really, isn't it? So find your way, your own way, and then you can, whatever works for you, as long as you got the basics, in painting. So if you want to do things your own way, but you still need the basics of color mixing and shapes and composition and focal points and all kinds of stuff, yes, learn all those basics. But when you go to put on your paint, use whatever colors you want, but make sure that they harmonize with each other and whatever. But just enjoy the painting process, and the more you know about it, the more you'll enjoy it. Now I'm going to get some color in that shadow area. Is really nice, but I still want to have a little bit of depth in there. So I'm going to take my shadow color. So once you get that base color done, you can keep that and just add some white to it, and you'll get some different shades, different values of that color. Okay? So I'm just making it a little bit lighter, and I'm going to pull down some lines back here just to suggest, these are just little short strokes in the back, just to suggest that there's a bit of snow back there too, and I might even put a little bit of snow back there. And up here, that way you can straighten up your lines. Good. Leave little holes. You still want those darks to come through. Okay, see that? Over here. Good. Just these little bits of, just see, because you need almost 3 values on your paintings, no matter what it is, like dark, medium, and light. And so if you have 3 values in your paintings, they'll come alive for you. There we go. They're shaping up, aren't they? Now clean off your brush and we'll put our final coat of snow on there. We may have a final coat. Depends on, you know, how white you want. Mostly the peaks will be the brightest, because we want to show a snow-peaked mountain or a snow-capped mountain. I keep starting in this middle one here because it's the tallest. So, but yeah, so your paint can be dry or it can be wet. But I'm finding that if it's wet, then it's just going to blend in what's already there, and you can't get a really nice bright white. Because right now I'm just adding pure white this time. Alright, so just pure white, just to get that really nice snow peak. Just the top, don't touch anything else, just the top. We'll worry about the rest after. See how pretty it is when you just do the top? Look. Just little strokes of white on the top. Don't be tempted to go over your openings there. Don't be tempted. Just go to the very top. Good. Now, what we can do is add a little bit as we come down a little bit. Just here and there. We'll probably put one here. A little bit here. Probably we'll come down over this mountain here. And so you can do it, shape it up the way you want it now, see? Just using pure white. If your paint is still wet, they'll blend together. You can even tap at it. If you tap at it, you'll get all these ridges. There we go. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap. There we go. If you tap at it, you'll get some really nice ridges and stuff. But you don't have to do that all the way through. See all the nice snow coming out? Look. Little bits of snow here, a little bit of snow there, a little bit of snow here. I'm going to leave that there. Looks kind of cool. See? I made my own decision. A little bit here, maybe a little bit here, tap on a little bit here. See, and you get all these shapes as you're doing that. Isn't that cool? Look. at all those cool shapes. And that squiggly line certainly helped you. Right, a little bit here, a little bit there, jumping over places. There we go. I want to get some more up on this peak here to make it nice and bright. I might wait for that to dry completely and then I'm going to add more white only to the top. Right now I'm just trying to find places where it might be some extra mounds of snow. I'm just pushing on, I'm pushing my brush, tap or push, tap, 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 push if you want. Right, and you get a mound of snow then, see? Or we just pull a little bit, then you're going to get just a little bit of snow. Alright, let's try a little bit more on the other one. And then we'll wait for it to dry. And then we will, you can even change up that back, you know, anything that you want to do. Just move your brush around and have some fun. If you want to change up, let's see, if you don't like the shape here, say, then make a little squiggly line, just get it up like that, and then start pulling it down. You get a different shape. Good. But I kind of like the rugged edge, so that didn't come out as rugged as I would like. I'll put some shadow back into that. Alright, let's let that dry and add some peaks. So with your dirty brush that has white on it, just use a little bit of that for this other side. Just a little bit, not much, just a hint. Just a hint there might be some snow back here, not much. You know. So, you know, you have a look at some pictures of mountains and see how the sun is shining on them and where it's shining and where most of the paint is and where most of the snow is. And that will help you decide where you want some of your snow. So I'm just guessing right now because I'm just making it up as I go along. So I'm just thinking, you know, maybe there's a bit of light back here somewhere, but not very much. You can even put some dark blue paint on again. If you mess it up, don't worry. Go back to your original color, okay? No, don't destroy your painting or get upset. Just put dark paint on it again and just put some more darks in between what you just did. That's all. That's all. Good. Now, so I'm just going to pick up some white paint. And hopefully this is dry, it should be. And I'm just going to add more white to the very top. I'm not going to come down very far this time because I just want to, these are pretty high up in the sky, so they're pretty white at the top here because they're full of snow. They're the highest peak. They probably got more snow on them than the rest of the mountain. Right, just a little bit on the top there. Maybe right here too. Maybe right here. See how that brightens up when you see? Good. Good, good. So, see how it's bright around the top there now? Love this this brush here for doing this because you got that nice little pointy top to it, see? It helps a lot to keep those peaks. So that's just an angular brush. You can use these in painting in flowers too. And I think we're okay. If you can't, you get too much of a, I'm just going to take a toothpick. I'm just going to try this. I haven't tried it. I'm just going to try it anyway. You can put some little dots of, not much, just in case you didn't put enough shadow in there. You can put some little dots of shadows. This is for people who sometimes put on too much white paint. You'll get some of these little dots there. It kind of gives it kind of a, so many different ways you can paint. But you know, as you go along, you'll figure out some things yourself too, right? You just figure it all out yourself. Come up with your own ideas. And from the videos, you learn this and that, and some techniques and tricks and things. And you put it all together, and eventually one day you'll just put it all together and do your own kind of paintings and have your own style. I'll just fix this little here. I'm not fussy about how smooth that is. I'm just going to add a few little, just bring it in a bit. Don't like when it's too even. So we'll just pretend our little squiggly line is still there. And then we'll put our white on that. You have to play with it until you get what you're looking for. See, I mean, if you're not happy with it, just go back over it again. It's okay, it's better. I like that better. So I'm going to show you something now. Make some mist at the bottom of your mountain. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a scruffy old bristle brush, just a small one, probably size 8, or smaller, whatever works for you, and I'm going to make sure it's dry. It's damp, but I'm wiping it off in my tissue just so it won't be too wet, because we're going to call this dry brushing. And then we're going to fill it up with paint, and I'm going to wipe it off again. Alright, just wipe it off in your tissue so there's not too much on there, see? And then we're going to use that to mist our bottom of our mountain. So we're just going to take this, touch, and make some circles. Make some circles. This can be dry if it is dry, it's no problem. And just make these circles and push and push. You can even go up into the mountain and make some nice mist. And if you run out of paint, go get some more, wipe it off in your tissue, and make circles again. Okay, and that'll clean up your bottom of your. And you can even put it in here. You can put it wherever you want it. Good. See, that makes mist at the bottom of your mountains. Look. Isn't that nice? How to mist your mountains. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Easy breezy. Now that looks nice, doesn't it? So that's not a bad little mountain. I think that looks pretty nice. Now if you put some nice water down here, or some grass, or some trees, that would look really pretty. Maybe I'll make a little painting out of that. Alright. So yes, a nice little painting. I could put some clouds in the sky, and some trees, and some hills, and some really nice things there. I might do that for you. And if you want to get notified, and I'm uploading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just subscribe or click on a bell that's there to get notified. I think if you just subscribe, you may not get the notifications or all of them. So, or contact me at allisonprior@yahoo.com, and if you're looking for a specific video on a certain subject, just let me know. I may have it for you, or I could even probably do one for you. So I will call that one finished, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Signing out from Allison Prior. Bye!